Hello everybody, welcome back to another brand new video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Artsy Flips and Nabali's Wave. And this is a pretty interesting collaboration trainer from both of them because it has an interesting feature of an in-designed bevel, meaning that you can change this from a trainer blade to a live blade. And I really wanted to test that out today. So I partook in a pass round, and specifically Pyro Flipper's pass round, who is going to be giving away a wave at the end of the pass round. Make sure you stay tuned to that and watch his Instagram for that. And I also wanted to get one from Artsy Flips to, be able to test out how well it sharpens and kind of give a walkthrough of what I did and how I went through it. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so as usual with Nabali's products, they come in this box. This is probably one of the more unique boxes besides the Vulp, and I will be talking about how it compares to the Vulp because ideally that is like the main competitor with this one. As you can see, I have the teal version. You might not actually be able to see it, but by the box, this is the teal version. You simply cut off the tape from the back and open up the lid, and you find a bunch of goodies inside. First thing that I saw was this. This is basically like an instruction manual that Nabali's kind of keeps with every single one of their Balisongs. It shows a bit of a breakdown of all of the parts of the wave and what it includes. It comes with a bunch of accessories, including some things I will show you in a second. This knife is a bushing-driven knife, and they go into depth and description of talking about the bushing system and how you can tune it. Now, I didn't tune it for this video just to kind of show you the stock tolerances because with the Morse and the Vulp, I decided to tune it before this video, so I didn't do it this one to show you the stock tolerances. Now, off the bat, we have some nice little interesting things. We have some accessories like some extra washers, bushings, pivots, and screws. You also get this actually nice 1/4 inch bit that can stick into a small little screwdriver like this Weehaw right here. Just a magnetic little torque bit, and it's actually really nice compared to mine because it has it's a bit elongated, and you can actually use it as a pivot needle, which I think Will Hirsch has shown before in some of his videos. You can also get a bit of a sample Loctite. I don't really recommend this bottle specifically because the applicator isn't as thin as something you get from like Squid Industries, where it's basically like a needle, and you can really get in there for some precision. You also do get another T10 bit. Yes, this is T10. But we get another T10 bit. This one's actually like a little bit of a screwdriver, has an orange handle. That's pretty nice that they give you a lot of options. And there's also one inside here if you didn't see that. So a lot of goodies in here, but that doesn't stop there because you get a little sticker. I don't think this was actually inside the packaging. I think this was actually outside the packaging, but you get a little sticker, Artsy Flip sticker. I have not put mine on the case yet. We also get a signature from Artsy Flips herself inside there. You can see it's written in sort of a brassish bronze kind of color. And then, of course, the main thing, we have the wave inside the packaging as well. This is a trainer that can be converted into a live blade. And again, I will talk to you guys about my process and walk you through what happened with me. Now, they do provide some instructions on how you can sharpen this, specifically 2 methods. They say that you can slowly remove material from the edge using 60 to 1200 grit sandpaper, which will help you get a probably more fine and polished edge, which is not what I did. Or you can use a specialized diamond-based stone that can help you get your edge in around 5 to 10 minutes, which is, along the lines of what I did, but not quite. So let's talk about the trainer itself. The blade is made out of 440C blade steel, which is definitely better than some of the last few Nabali's products as we've seen, as they've all been 420 steel, which I've always thought was a fake steel because, it's 420. And this is 440 steel, which is actually recognizable steel. And the main reason they went with this is because it is a cheaper blade steel, but it also has good edge retention. And they needed that to be able to design this bevel in here and actually be able to convert this to a live blade when need be. It's on a bushing and washer driven system, And the tolerances, I will talk about that separately, but we'll move on to the handles, which are channel constructed aluminum handles. These handles are a lot better than the Vulp, and I will again continue on after this. It is a latchless construction, so there's no latches or anything like it. It's got some jimping on the side here that is actually very nice. Very similar depth to the Vulp. I don't think it's as aggressive, maybe a little bit more rounded, but it still has some depth, and you definitely do feel it on your fingers. It also has some designs in the front of the face of the handles that do have a nice area of grip. It's very good for fanning. You can really feel it while doing all those tricks and centered in that area. The edge, let's talk about it. So how did I make this edge? I actually use this on a bench grinder. I have a grinding wheel in my basement. I encountered some interesting things. I don't really like how the edge was sort of set up. Up here, you can kind of see it's very thick. That was basically where this tip was. The tip basically didn't have a tip in the first place. I think that's just to make it sort of trainer-like. However, the edge started from here all the way up to about here on the blade. And the rest of it sort of tapered out to basically be the stock width of the blade. I didn't really like that because that made me spend a lot more time and go at weird angles in order to actually get this a full edge all the way to the top. I didn't necessarily prefer that, and it definitely lengthened the sharpening process. I'm not a huge expert, and I didn't really go to any other lengths to sort of polish this edge. It does have a few chips in it, and I definitely could be gone over one more time more cleanly, and I definitely think I could have done a better job of the tip, as it still is kind of round. It is not tipped. That is just how it was from the beginning. The process of actually making a edge itself was very easy, besides that small issue of basically blade stock near the top of the blade. So that was pretty easy, and the edge itself is really sharp. I actually shaved part of my arm bald testing the edge. Part of that might be just because it's a rough edge, but it's nice. I did try and go and polish it to make it a little bit better, and because I think it's a little bit cleaner. So the blade itself is an interesting shape. Someone said it reminded them of a backwards Kraken blade, like the Tonto blade, and now that I'm looking at it, I can kind of see it. It definitely has a very similar shape to the Kraken as far as being backwards goes. It's definitely interesting. The blade itself is chamfered all the way around up to the tip, and the stock where it was on the edge side was rounded as well. Of course, that is no longer the case because I sharpened it. So it's chamfered all the way around up until the beginning of the edge. So no worries about pinching there, and I have not had any problems with pinching whatsoever on this knife. Speaking of pinching, we should talk about the Zen pin notch here, which is pretty minimalist. It's very similar to the Vulp. It's definitely small and, you know, out of the way. I don't have any complaints about the Zen pin notch, so let's move on to the actual pins itself. The pins are where I start to have a bit of a problem because upon first flipping this and first dropping it, the safe handle pin fell out. Now, I'm not too sure if this is a huge issue with a lot of them out there, if people have been having this issue, but what I found to fix this problem was to just put some thread locker on the end of it and let it sink in flat on your desk. If you're just laying this down, let the pin go all the way down in there, it should lay flat, and let it sit for 24 hours, and it should be fine. This has not fallen out since then, so it seems like it's permanently fixed. I have not been beating this too hard. In fact, I've been flipping it inside, not over concrete, mainly over my bed or on my floor, which is also carpet. But that is kind of where it's kind of bad because it should not come out on carpet when you drop it on it. So I'm not too sure if that was a huge issue, a huge flaw. The bite handle one was fine. That's the only thing I had an issue on as far as QC goes. The rest of it was very nice. So I don't have any complaints as far as quality control goes. That's just a little bit of an issue that I had over the days of having this. So the next thing we should talk about is the bushing system, specifically the tolerances. Now, stock tolerances, I'll let you take a listen to them. Not the best. However, it's kind of on par with a lot of these Nabalis and collaboration knives they've done. They all had good tolerances out of the box. In fact, the first day or two having this and flipping it, before the pin fell out, the tolerances were very, very good. In fact, some of the best tolerances of those collaboration knives from Nabali's. And it's sort of degraded over time. I tried to lap the washers a little bit. That didn't really seem to help it at all. And the tap stayed. It did kind of have some underlying undersized bushing notes, but I went in and found out that it's not undersized. The washers in these Nabali's knives are just funky. The hardware is just weird. It doesn't quite fit in my bushing tuner device, and the washers itself are really cheap looking and super worn out, probably from testing them and fitting them. Again, I have not tuned this, so there is some level of exploration to do and definitely some improvement. Now let's talk about the handles, which I think are great. Not only does it have the essentials like being aluminum latchless and full channel, but it also has the important design elements that make aluminum handles so good, like these cutouts here and of course the jimping on the side. I don't need to tell you guys this again, but aluminum is slippery, and this knife compared to the Vulp is way less slippery. I don't know what has changed, but it seems like the Morse and the Wave are the more grippier knives from the Bali's. The Vulp was some weird kind of exception where it was just not grippy at all. The texture feels very different. It's a lot less glossy like the Vulp is, and I also think part of it not being as slippery is with the balance. The balance of this knife is much more neutral. The Vulp was handle biased, and not handle biased like the kind of handle bias I like. So this knife is actually pretty neutral. Out of the box, it felt like it was a slight amount of blade biased, but after sharpening it, it is pretty neutral. I think that's partially because I took some weight off the blade. Very microscopic change in my opinion, but it is actually very, very neutral, and I really do prefer this knife over the Vulp. Like, honestly, if you asked me which one you should buy, the Vulp or the Wave, I would say the Wave every single time because the balance of this is so much better. This design is just very functional. It works very well. So shout out to Artsy Flips for making actually a good functioning design. And actually, I think there's a drop going on for these, and I think they're $5 cheaper right now. I think they're originally $75, but they're actually $5 cheaper right now. So you can get one for $70, which is a really good deal, especially for a knife that flips this good. Honestly, I think this is the best flipping collaboration knife Nabali's has done. So shout out to Artsy Flips, shout out to Nabali. You guys did a good job on this one because it's grippy, it has the jimping that I love, and it has the design aspect, and of course the balance of it. I really think that aluminum knives can be really good if you have a good balance, and this knife just goes to prove that. So that is the video for the Wave. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you slap the like button if you did enjoy this video. I will have links to Nabali's and Artsy Flips Instagram down below. From there you can access buying the Wave for yourself. I do recommend this product, especially for this price. So shout out to everyone involved in making this project. You did a very good job. But yeah, that's all I have to say. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.